In today's video, I am putting Kirkland and Takomo head to head. I have the Takomo Ignis D1 driver and the Kirkland signature driver, as well as the Takomo 101 irons head to head with the Kirkland signature irons. The format for today's video is really fun. I'm gonna be playing a one-man scramble where I hit 2 shots every single ball, 1 with each club. Throughout the video, we're gonna count how many strokes go to Takomo and how many strokes go to Kirkland. I'm gonna be playing 5 holes. Here's the catch. If I shoot 1 over or better, I am going to keep all of these clubs. If I shoot worse than 1 over, I'm going to be giving away a driver of your choice. All you have to do is like, comment, and subscribe, and as soon as this video gets to 200 likes, if I don't break 1 over, one of you is going to win whichever driver you prefer. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, hole number 1, we're gonna be hitting the Kirkland first and then the Takomo second. First up, 520-yard par 5. We've got the Kirkland. Very, very large egg-shaped head on this. Oh, a little bit left there. All right, we're just in the bunker. Next up, Takomo. Much better looking driver down at the ball. Way more traditional. Oh, shanked it to the right. It's just a bad swing. Just a terrible, terrible swing. All right, score, Kirkland 1, Takomo 0. All right, that Takomo drive was OB. The Kirkland only went 250, but I did not hit it very well. Thankfully, very windy, do not fall. Thankfully, we actually ended up kicking out of the bunker. So we are 260 out. We're not gonna get there. I'm just gonna hit a 5 iron. We're gonna go with the Kirkland first, then the Takomo. Dude, so windy. Okay, 263 out. We're gonna go with the Takomo first. Now these 101s are an incredibly forgiving, chunky head. They have a ton of offset. I am not a big fan of offset, so visually these have never really agreed with me, but just something I have to get used to. Oh, every time I push them to the right. Every time. I don't know what it is about that offset. I think it's because it looks like it's gonna go left so hard that I like overcompensate visually and make it go right. All right, next up we got the Kirklands. Much more traditional looking club here. I like the way this looks way better. Yeah, results way better too. Really nice strike there. That felt really pure. Big fan of that shot. These irons have a lot in common. First of all, the price. Both of these sets are right around the $500 mark, brand new. They're both hollow body construction, game improvement iron, focused at kind of like that beginning player / high handicapper. So far the score is 2-0 Kirkland. We're gonna start with the Takomo here. We've got 100 yards out. The pitching wedge on these 101s is the biggest club I feel like I've ever seen. Very, very confidence inspiring. I could see the appeal. It's like a brand new golfer. Let's try to hit a good one. Decent. That's a pretty good ball there. All right, next up the Kirkland. I really do prefer how these look at the ball. Besides that chrome finish, it's just too bright, but like shape wise, much bigger fan of this. Oh, that's really good. I think that might be really good. All right, let's see how we do up there. Couple really important factors to consider if you're in the market for one of these 2 sets of clubs. First of all, on the pros side of the coin for Takomo, you have the choice of staff shiftness. You have the choice of staff shiftness. So you can get regular all the way up through X stiff with Takomo. You can even pick different shafts. I have the KBS Tour 130 X stiff in those. For Kirkland, you only have 2 options, regular or stiff, so I wasn't even able to get extra stiff, which is a huge bummer. The flip side of the coin though is Costco has a world-class return policy. So if you hate these clubs, you try them out and you just realize they're just not for you, no problem. You can just take them to Costco and they'll give you all your money back. Takomo on the other hand, you can't return the clubs, so there's no option to try them and see how you like them. It just is what it is. I don't think I would have guessed this, but this is the Kirkland. The Takomo's way over there. So on hole number 1, we've got a great looking birdie putt, and it's all Kirkland up to this point. Now, Takomo doesn't make putters. Costco makes a really, really nice putter. I was unable to get my hands on it. It's sold out everywhere. So for today's putter, I'm using my Gamer. This is like a 1980s Ping Answer. I love it. Zero technology. It's just a hunk of metal on the end of a stick. Anyway, we've got 2 putts here for the birdie. All right, just left that short. Shoot. All right, tap in par. There we go. Even through 1, Kirkland all the way. All right, next up, we've got a 130-yard par 3. It is downhill, but it's straight into the wind, as you can probably tell. Should probably have a 9-iron, but I brought pitching wedges, and I'm not walking back to the cart, so it's gonna have to do. All right, first up, Takomo 101. Again, just so much offset, such a chunky club. Some people love that. It's definitely confidence inducing if you're into it, but all right, let's hit a good one here. Just get through the ball. Little thin. Oh, that wind is doing the absolute most. Really good shot though, really good shot. We're pin high, about 20 feet right. Kirkland time. You know, I've talked about how visually I like the Takomo's a little bit less at the ball, which is true in the long irons, but pitching wedge shape. This Kirkland's got a weird kind of like angular thing going on. I like the look of the pitching wedge a lot better in the Takomos. Oh, that's out of bounds. That's a terrible shot. Yep, that's gone. All right, Takomo on the board with a good shot. On the board. These iron sets have a lot in common, including the loft. They're both very, very strong lofted. The Takomo 101s are actually a little bit stronger lofted than the Kirklands. Kirkland 7-iron comes in at 31 degrees of loft. The 101s come in at 30 degrees of loft. So both very strong lofted, but one's actually a little bit extra loft jacked. Okay, we've got a long birdie putt here. Pretty decent shot here for the Takomos, considering I didn't strike it the best. Should be pretty fast. Man, having 2 putts is going to be huge because that was terrible. It's way faster than I thought, way more left to right. Second putt. All right, that's a lot better. We can work with that. You know, something I'm curious about, and I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. The clubs you play say a lot about you, and I could see this going 2 directions. First of all, this is for the par. I think there's something pretty cool about playing Takomos because it's not like a household name yet, and so it's a little bit kind of like niche. They're really good looking clubs. They've got a clean logo. So I could see Kirkland versus Takomo, people having a strong inclination towards Takomo. But at the same time, there's something like weirdly, ironically badass about pulling out a Kirkland set of golf clubs. It's like when people get their weddings catered by In-N-Out. It's like, that's awesome. So I could see that going either way. I think that's a wash, depending on what you're into. All right, we're even through 2. We've only got 3 holes left. We're gonna hit a 4-iron. This is a 300-yard par 4. Really narrow landing area, so it's a tough hole for me historically. Let's see how these do. You know, one thing to call out, actually, let me hit this shot and then I'll talk about it. It's left going left. That's really bad. That's out of bounds. Let's see how we do with the Kirklands. By the way, I'm like a 13 handicap, so like I know I'm flawed. You don't need to tell me that I'm bad at golf. I'm well aware. All right, Kirkland time. Oh yeah. Dead center fairway. Nice little draw. Oh, that is A1 position. A1 position. Let's go. I think this highlights something that I've talked about briefly, but I want to expand on. Everyone is so different when it comes to what they like and what they don't like in a golf club. You could take the exact same handicap golfer, have them hit the exact same club under the exact same circumstances. One person could love a club and one could absolutely hate a club. Now, the reason I bring this up, because of Takomo's direct-to-consumer model, you save a ton of money, which is absolutely awesome. Golf is way too expensive of a sport, and I'm very, very on board with brands that are trying to make it more accessible. The problem though, is you can go online, you can do their online fitting tool, you can watch some reviews, and you could end up buying a set of golf clubs that you absolutely hate. And after one round, you could realize you've completely wasted your money and you're a little bit out of luck. Unlike other clubs where you can go hit them or get fit for them in advance of purchasing, you're kind of in the dark, you're kind of buying on a hope and a prayer, and there's just a lot of risk involved in that. After 5 swings at the 101s, I would tell you those clubs are not for me, but it'd be too late. It'd be too late. That Kirkland 4-iron ended up going 210 yards. Beautiful ball flight, perfect A1 position. So I think that's 4-1 Kirkland. 4-1 Kirkland. Slaughter so far. Anyway, pitching wedge once again. We're only about 100 yards out, so it's kind of like a choke down half swing here. Really stoked about that iron shot. We've got the Takomo 101 pitching wedge first. Again, visually, this pitching wedge compared to the Kirkland, I actually really prefer these Takomos. Oh, that feels so good. Man. Pin high just to the right. That ball jumps off this face. You can tell these things have some juice behind them. I barely tapped that and that thing just launched, man. All right, Kirkland. I mean, I'm starting to feel bad for the Takomos. Oh my gosh, there's fire ants on my club. Are they on my body? I gotta get out of here. That Takomo pitching wedge felt so good. It actually felt better than the Kirkland. I think the strike was a little better. The Kirkland result is once again better. That is 5-1 with the Kirkland, and we've got a great look at birdie. Like I said, pretty solid shot here with the Takomo. A little bit past the pin, about 20 feet, but we've got a true birdie look here from this Kirkland shot. This would be to go one under. Oh, blew it by. Second putt. Oh my gosh, you idiot. Who makes the same mistake but worse on the second time? That's pretty bad. All right, we got that coming back for the par. I gotta tell you, these par putts are a lot less scary when you know you got 2 looks at it for the par. All right, that'll do. Even through 3. Now, both of these drivers have some work to do because we are hitting straight into the wind. This is a 420-yard par 4. I'm gonna go with the Ignis D1 first. Literally, when I say straight in the wind, like a lot of wind. All right. I love how this driver looks at address. It is a very aesthetically pleasing club. And I spray it completely OB to the right, which I've done a lot with this driver. A lot. All right, a lot of pressure on this shot. You know, like I said, the lack of staff. Why do I keep saying staff? The lack of shaft. I can't say shaft. The lack of shaft optionality really punishes you here. I don't know if you can tell how whippy the shaft is. It's just not very confidence inducing. Let's see how this does. I suck. Those are terrible shots. Here's what I'll say. I like the Ignis Driver better. I'm sorry I'm not better at golf and I can't give you a better example of how they actually perform. The Ignis is better. I have to play the Kirkland though because the Ignis is out of bounds. The Kirkland went about 40 yards. Now real quick, before the comment section chimes in about how I suck at golf and my swing's not good. Guys, I know. Just save yourself the typing. I know I'm not good, but no one is good at this sport. Like nobody's good. I mean, some people are really good, but like, most people aren't good, so hopefully there's a little bit of relatability. Stop telling me I have a bad swing. No. Okay, that drive literally went 120 yards because I topped it. So we are still a long way away. We're like 284 out. I've got 6 irons in each club. Obviously can't get there with anything, so just gonna try to get one back in the fairway. We're gonna hit the Takomo first, see how that goes. In some thick rough here. Takomo 101. Oh, that's a really good ball. That thing jumped too. Nice little draw. Really good feeling, good sound. It's probably the best iron shot I've hit with this yet. That felt pretty good. Kirkland time. Definitely a sleeker top line here. Same exact shot. Nice little draw. Both of those are literally identical. Carbon copies. Felt the same, looked the same. Identical golf shot. Let's see which one wins. Now I learned something really important in those 2 shots. Both of them were struck perfectly, right? This is the Kirkland 6-iron. This went 196 yards from that last shot, which is a really well hit 6-iron. Just you wait. You're wondering where I'm going. I would be wondering too. Why are you walking so far? What could possibly be up there? What are you doing so far away from that last ball? Why are you going so far? Why haven't you stopped yet? Because this 234-yard golf shot came from that Takomo 101 6-iron. 234 yards. That's crazy. Now, as much as my ego loves hitting a 234-yard 6-iron, I actually think that is a huge negative to the Takomo 101s. Now hear me out. Something you have to be aware of with a really, really chunky head that's packed with forgiveness and technology is you can catch these things that I'll call like the trampoline effect. It's when you actually hit a club that's designed for people who don't strike the ball that well, and you actually do strike the ball well, they have a tendency to just absolutely fly. Now, it is really helpful having a club like the 101s that help you get away with your mishits. You hit it off the toe, you hit it off the heel, it's still gonna get out there. But when you hit it well and you get punished, thankfully on this shot we're laying up, there's no distance that would be too far. But if that was like a par 3 and I was hitting a 185-yard 6-iron shot, that Kirkland would have been dialed. And that Takomo, though absolutely pured, would have flown the green by 50 yards. So it's just something to keep in mind. Like, yeah, it's cool to have clubs that go really far, but like the distance inconsistency is something I have really, really not liked about the 101s. Now, the 101 tees from Takomo, which I have a review out on, completely different story, significantly better, but you really have to be aware of it with the 101s. Sometimes that ball just absolutely flies off the face. It's like out of control. Anyway, with all that said, we're 44 yards away. We got to get up and down for the par. So this point goes to the 101s. I'm going to start with the Kirklands. Little pitching wedge. Little short. It's coming back too. All right, not terrible, but should be able to do a lot better than that from 44 yards. All right, 101. Oh, I yanked it. It flew over the green. Okay. Point to the Kirkland signatures. Even that one isn't, like, that thing just jumps, which is cool, but like, just gotta be aware of it. You know, the more I get into this round, the more I think I should probably also do a video comparing the Kirklands to the 101 tees. I actually think they feel more comparable, even though technically on paper it should be the 101s. Anyway, we got a long putt for par to stay at even. I thought that was gonna break to the right. Did not. Okay, things just got a little bit hairy going into the last hole. I gotta make this for a bogey, which means I gotta par this last one. And this last one's a bit of a doozy. Do with that what you will. Okay, one over, come down to the wire. Okay, well, it all comes down to this hole. If I get a par or better, then I get to keep the clubs. If I get a bogey or worse, one of you is gonna win one of these drivers. It's up to you which one you want, either the Kirkland signature or the Ignis D1 from Takomo. Again, this video just has to hit 200 likes and I just have to get a bogey or worse. All you have to do is like, comment, and subscribe and you got a chance to win. Now real quick, before you think I'm making up my mind based on just a few shots, I did hit these on the range a little bit and played some other rounds with them. So I have more than just a few pieces of evidence behind my ideas here. But next up, we've got the Kirkland signature. This is a 430-yard par 4. Really don't love how this sits at address, but... Oh, that's a really good ball though. Huge draw. Okay, a little toey. I don't think that's gonna get out there too far, but that's a pretty good miss. Pretty good swing with the Kirkland. Next up, we've got the Ignis. You know, it's interesting. These clubs just line up so differently. That Kirkland has so much left bias. This does not seem to have that. And I missed it right every time so far. And I missed it right again. Out of bounds to the right. It's so interesting. It's like, it can't be the driver's fault. I know that. It's just something visually though. And there, yeah, you know, it goes back to what I was saying, man. So much of golf is visuals and something about how it lines up. I just miss it right every time. They feel really good though. And that ball is like, it's OB right, but at least it's getting out there. It's hit well. Feels good. I don't know. You know, I'm a little bit bummed that That Kirkland driver ended up going to 280 yards in a great spot. I really like that Ignis driver. I wanted to hit some good ones with it for y'all, but something about it visually, it just pushes it right for me. That said, it's also like hard a little bit switching back and forth between two different clubs. So I think if I spent some time with that Ignis, we could get it pretty dialed. That said, I've got 170 yards left here. I've got a 7-iron with each club. That Kirkland driver, it's performed well. Well, that's leaking right. All right, that was with the Kirkland. I just left that face wide open. Actually, didn't feel like a terrible swing. It just left it out there. This is huge though. I need to get this on the green. Oh, I did the same thing. That's just my swing at this point. Okay, that actually came back a little bit with the 101. This is gonna be tough. I have a very, 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 very long 2-putt to make. This is not where you wanna be if you're me. It's where I'd want to be if you're you. Exactly where I'd want to be if I was you. A1 position to get a free driver at my expense. Thing I want to note is, given the size of my channel, I am not at the stage yet where companies pay for anything or send me anything for free. So I have bought everything to date with my own money. So I'm thousands and thousands of dollars deep into this channel. So when I'm giving away one of these drivers, giving away something I spent my money on. So I hope you appreciate it. And if I do not 2-putt this, I hope you at least get a chance to win a really cool driver. Okay, we are legitimately 100+ feet away. I've got to go up and over a hill. I have to 2-putt this in order to keep the club. If I don't, I have to give it away. That's not gonna get there. Oh, that's so short. Gosh, you gotta hammer this thing. That is not gonna be an easy putt. Okay. Oh, that's a pretty good putt. That's a pretty good putt. Let's see how that does. Okay, the closer I get to it, the more I realize this is farther away than I had hoped. 2 tries at it though. 2 tries at it. Okay. Yeah, well, I hammered that. I was just trying to ram it in there. Okay, this is it. That was like a $300 putt, and I had 2 tries at it. That's a bogey. And that puts me at 2 over. Well, there you have it. Just like that, I absolutely fumbled the bag on like a 5-foot putt. So as soon as this video gets to 200 likes, I will be giving away either the Kirkland signature driver or the Takomo Ignis D1. Again, to enter, it's simple. All you have to do is like, comment, and subscribe. And in your comment, put the Kirkland or the Ignis, whichever one you'd prefer to win. I'll be giving one of those away, which sucks because I had planned to sell or return them. So that was a $300 re-putt. Now real quick, let's recap how I felt about the clubs. When it comes to the irons, I genuinely prefer the Kirkland signatures way more than the 101s. That is not necessarily an indictment on Takomo because I think their other clubs are awesome. I actually hate the 101s. I know they're for a very specific kind of beginner golfer, but like not a fan. I hate them. I like the 101 tees a lot, so please watch my review of those. But the Kirklands were genuinely so impressive. $500 for a set of irons that are that pure, that forgiving, that look good, and you could return if you hated them. Man, my vote is easily Team Kirkland when it comes to irons. Now, when it comes to the driver, I have to go Takomo. Even though I didn't hit it as well, it just looks way better. It lines up way better. It has a much more premium feel to it, and you have way more options when it comes to stiffness, grift. Why can't I say shaft? I say grift? When it comes to stiffness, shaft, grip, etc. Now, the last thing I want to say is both of these iron sets are really targeted at kind of like the beginning golfer or somebody who's been playing a really old set of clubs and just wants to upgrade to something newer. And if you are in that category, I actually have a recommendation that isn't in either of these golf bags. And that is going into your local PGA Superstore or Golf Galaxy, testing out clubs and getting fit. And then going on Second Swing or Facebook Marketplace or some used club marketplace and trying to find a club that you got fit into secondhand. Just like with cars, you can save so much of the immediate depreciation once a club gets used, but you can still kind of get fit and find a club, even like shaft and club combo, that really works for your game. So all this to say, I think both of these sets of irons are a great place to start. If I had to choose one of them for the typical average beginner golfer, I would actually be Team Kirkland. All that to say, I really hope you enjoyed the video. Remember, these are the good old days. I'm JC, and this is Good Old Days Golf. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Peace!